Morning everyone. So welcome to the very first installment of the SWATT Books self-publishing pointers. So this is a regular live feature that I'm going to start doing to answer some of the questions that I commonly get asked from authors. And today's first question is why authors should self-publish. And then the reasons why you should self-publish are all kind of the cons of the traditional publishing model. For a lot of authors, especially first-time authors, the idea of getting a traditional publishing deal is like the holy grail. There's the perception that getting a traditional publishing deal, the publisher is going to do all of the work for them. They're going to get this nice, big, fat, healthy advance. And then they just have to sit back and wait for the royalty checks to come in. But in today's modern world of publishing, unfortunately, none of that is true anymore. At one time it used to be, but now it's just not the case. So let's go through those various points. The first one, they do all the work. That is just so not true anymore. Yes, a traditional publisher will hire your editor for you, they will get the book designed for you, and they will source printing. However, in exchange for that, you are giving up nearly all of the creative control over your book during that process. I've heard a lot of authors who have had their books traditionally published where after editing, the book just was unrecognizable anymore. It didn't sound like their book, the way they had wrote it, the way that they intended it. And when it comes to interior design, typesetting, cover design, things like that, a lot of the times you will find that they'll be designed to a house style that is common to the publisher, which may not be in your book's best interest. It may not really suit the ideas that you had for your book. You may be fortunate in that the publisher may send you a couple of cover ideas for you to choose from, but generally that's really the only input that you're going to have into the way your book is going to look when it's finished. Okay, so you're going to be signing over all of that control. Another misconception is that the traditional publishing house will do all of your marketing for you. Guess what? Nowadays, that is also not the case. Unless your book gets chosen as, sort of a book of the month feature where they will put marketing into it for that month. Other than that, guess what? You're going to have to do all of your own marketing as well. So, yes, okay, they're going to do, quite a bit of the beginning legwork for you. But once it's out there, its success, again, is all down to you. So the second point, getting a nice fat advance check. This is, one of the really, really big draws of people trying to get traditional publishing deals, because they think they're going to get this nice, healthy advance, which is also known as a signing bonus. But the reality is that unless you're a J.K. Rowling, a Stephen King, or an internationally recognized business person like Richard Branson or anything like that, any advance that you get is actually going to be quite modest, because you're not coming with a big following and and a lot of recognition and credibility behind you, especially as a first-time author. The average signing bonus, if you get one, is going to be, maybe £1,000 if you're lucky. J.K. Rowling, when the Harry Potter series was very, very first signed, £1,000 was all she got. And that was after being rejected 11 times before a publisher finally gave her a chance. So, don't expect, this big, massive advance check if you are coming into the publishing industry as an unknown author. The other expectations, or the only exceptions to that rule, is if you are coming to the table with proven book sales already. So if you've already got a track record of selling books in quantity, or you're coming with a huge fan base already, proven followers on social media, fans that are already waiting for your book to come out, you may be able to to negotiate a little bit more of a signing bonus, but again, it's just not guaranteed. But something else to remember is that when you sign on that dotted line to get that royalty check, or that advance check, you're actually signing away the rights to your book. And those rights usually last for what's known as copyright life, which is the life of the author plus 70 years. So not only are you signing away the rights to your book, you're also signing them away on behalf of your children as well. This is something that you want to keep as a legacy. Copyright lasts for a very, very long time, and the only way to get it back after you've signed it is to buy back those rights, which can be a very, very complicated process. So the very last point that I mentioned was people expect to just sit back and wait for the royalty checks to come in. Again, this is really, really not the case. Yes, you will get royalty checks on a regular basis, but the average royalty for authors here in the UK is anywhere between 5 to 10% of the cover price, which really, really is not a lot unless you are selling your book in massive, massive quantities. Those checks are, they're not going to be great. And I've worked with authors who, have gone down the traditional publishing route, authors that within their industry, are fairly well known, and, they may get a check of, 100 quid every couple of months. It's, it's really, really not what people expect. You will still need to have to buy your own copies. So, something else that a lot of people don't consider is that, any copies that you want to use for your own marketing, your own publicity, selling to your own, friends and family, you've got to buy those copies as well. And a lot of the times it's not just at cost. It'll be cost plus, a bit of percentage in as well for the publisher's own pocket. And the final thing, and this is something that I was made aware of not too long ago actually, was that a lot of traditional publishing contracts are now including what's known as a guaranteed sales clause. So in the fine print of your publishing contract, a lot of these publishers are actually making the author guarantee a certain number of sales of that book. And if your book doesn't sell that quantity, there are penalties. Either the book gets dropped or there's a fine. I was quite surprised and quite taken aback when I was told about this. And it's not just from one publisher. I've done a little bit of digging since, and quite a number of publishers are now including this sales clause, which means going back to doing on all of your own marketing, it really, really is all down to you. So with to answer the question of why self-publish, all of those reasons are actually the reasons why you should self-publish. You're going to retain creative control over your book. Yes, there is a fairly considerable upfront cost, but you're going to get more royalties at the end. All of the decisions are going to be down to you. You're going to retain all of the rights to your book permanently and for the life of the copyright, and it is completely under your control to do with as you wish, to market who you want, make it look how you want, and it is yours. If you're going to spend months, years, blood, sweat and tears writing a book, why would you sign it over to somebody else at the end? So that is it for this episode. Come back next week where I will be talking about the process of self-publishing, because quite often I get asked, okay, so what does self-publishing actually entail. And next week, that's what we'll be talking about. So have a fantastic day, and look forward to seeing you next time.